Hi everyone. Not sure you noticed, but at times our jobs in talent acquisition can be pretty stressful. That's why we decided to start TA Therapy, a show about all the pains, challenges, and coping mechanisms for us, talent professionals. We hope this will have its therapeutic effect while also providing valuable insights into the TA landscape and help you in your daily work and perhaps give a bit of inspiration to pursue your dream careers. This show is brought to you in cooperation with our partners. To support it, please follow the links in the description below. Thank you. So today with me is Anna Kulakivska with 20 plus years of experience in talent acquisition field across banking, telecom, gaming, software and recruitment service companies. The latest experience involves also leading a TA-focused course where Anna acted as a lecturer, and incidentally, she holds a diploma in psychotherapy. Anna is also
Coincidence.
yeah. Anna is also a dear former colleague of mine. So what did I miss in that intro?
Nothing. Thank you. Thank you for such an introduction. It's like when you started, it was pretty impressive.
All right, thank you. So, Anna, I wanted to start with a bit of your backstory. Maybe you could acquaint us a bit with how you came to talent acquisition and why that happened for you. Maybe something that led you towards the choice of this career path.
That's a very nice story, frankly speaking. It's actually I came into talent acquisition by accident because I came to the interview in my first company for a very another role. It was an assistant to a finance director, actually, role. But then after the conversation with the recruiter, she offered me to think about a role in talent acquisition department. They actually, coincidentally, they had a role, a junior level role in their department. And it seems she liked me, so she offered me to consider this role in talent acquisition. After a while, I joined the company, and actually I understood that this was like, a destiny's choice. Because since then I worked in talent acquisition and I still love it.
Awesome. Great. I think that's a lot of us who ended up in talent acquisition by accident, right? It's not really your childhood dream profession for most because it's so also ambiguous, right? You won't even understand it without actually touching it a bit, right? And having a taste of it, right? It's far more complex than, you study, like for a doctor, you become a doctor, right? And those kind of things are more straightforward. Yeah, it was completely the same for me as well.
Can you tell your story?
Perhaps another time. Today, it's all about you. So maybe I'll focus on that some other time. But basically, it was completely by accident myself as well. So maybe to jump into a bit broader topic straight away, maybe we can just touch upon some tangents as we go along. What would be your key learnings from this profession, looking back into those 20 years? I don't know, in terms of your professional development, in terms of how it formed you as a person, what traits maybe you have acquired, something about
that. Nice question to think about. So firstly, I would say that if you really, so basically, the main advice for everybody who is trying to find their own way or path in life, and actually not even to succeed in it, but to love what you do, is to observe what you really like doing. I mean, what is, the point of your interest, or something that makes you feel happy. So with recruitment, actually, my learnings, what makes me feel that this is this is the profession I'm really into, and what I really love doing, and what I keep doing for so many years already. So firstly, I do love people. Really, it's so simple, and I do love people, and I'm really interested in different type of people. I'm the person actually who stares in the metro to the crowd, trying to see everybody, trying to notice something really interesting about everybody who pass. And yeah, that's me. So if you find somebody who do the same thing, so maybe this person works in recruitment. Secondly, what makes me happy is, so I think that recruitment is kind of a serving job. So what you do is you help people. From one hand, you help companies to find the best talent for them, but from another hand, you always work with people, and you place people into the dream job, like in a very optimistic, way. And in a very the main goal is to find the right help person to make the right choice. I have a lot of stories when actually during the interview I gave advice to different type of people that this particular job is not for them, because they are not about that. So sometimes you may feel that, and you may help a person to find their way in life. And that's what makes me happy when it happens, and when the person is really, find the right place, and the right work, and the right métier. Let me put it this way. So I think those both things led me to the place where I am now, and keep me doing that throughout all the years.
Awesome. Great. If you would maybe fantasize and think about redoing something on your career path today, is there anything that you would do differently?
I have a couple of bad choices of employers, to be very honest. So, and when I reflect on what happened and how it happened, I can admit that there were some signs that made me think that this something is not really good with that. But I still made the choices. In any case, it brought me some experience, and it led me where I am now. So I am quite grateful for that. But sometimes I'm thinking that maybe to take a different decision would be a bit better choice for me. So yes.
In retrospect, I think for many of us also, some maybe impulsive choices that you make, right, to join the company based on maybe either a superficial impression of their external brand, or some people that that are great, and then you basically get into another department and it's different, and it's a different company altogether, right? So yeah, those things also happen.
But you know what? In psychotherapy, there is no bad choices, like in retrospective. The idea is that you make your best choice in given circumstances, in given time. So when you think of, such situation in this way, it makes you feel a bit better, I would say. but then it's nice to analyze and to get some ideas out of this situation, which is nice.
For sure, I can relate. Yeah, so like translating your failure into experience, right? So basically,
yes,
interesting.
And the story here is that it just like, I know this idea that all psychotherapists, for example, they can't feel frustrated or something because they are psychotherapists, right? They can cure themselves in some certain way. But the reality is that even if you work in recruitment for 100 years already, you still can make bad choices in the employment.
For sure.
So that was a nice understanding for me someday.
Yeah, I mean, we have been like Homo sapiens for like thousands of years already, right? And we still cannot rewire our brains, to only make the positive, the great choices in life, right? So it happens to the most experienced of us as well. Awesome.
Yeah,
all right, that's very interesting. Maybe to shift the focus a bit to the TA space, TA landscape, and maybe coming up with some of the things that people listening today could apply in their daily work, or get a better understanding of the talent landscape today. So if you could maybe share some of your takes on what trends in talent acquisition currently you're spotting, what is the market like, what is the is employer the king today, is the employee the king, what things are happening in your current experience?
Oh, that's a very nice topic to discuss. So first of all, yes, if we are talking about the market, how I would evaluate it, I pretty much believe that currently we experience a turn into the employer-driven market, job market. That's definitely the thing. While we had like for I don't know, for over a decade, I think we had the candidate-driven market before, so it was like totally different. And now, and I believe it will take like at least 1-2 years more. Like the situation will be the same, pretty much. So we have to learn how to be focused on candidates more. This is a nice time, and actually here comes the next trend that I observe, that if we are talking about the employer-driven market, we also talk about the candidate experience more, because what is important is to provide people with a great experience first, and then with like many places, like to many vacancies, many nice jobs openings. That's for sure. And the third trend, what I observe, is this. Everybody talks about artificial intelligence, and I believe that talent acquisition is one of a very, very fruitful fields for implementation different type of AI tools. There are plenty of them already, and they just, the speed, how it develop itself in our industry, it's huge, it's impressive. And, even if you went through and learned some AI tools, like in months, you may face some very brand new decisions and tools that came to the market. And that's quite challenging and exciting, I would say, because it turns a job of the talent acquisition in a very different way.
Yeah, I agree. I personally found myself like in the last year, I think, like in a giant sandbox, right, with all the shiny toys that they can play around with and try. And obviously, maybe not obviously, but I think that most of the big players will employ those like pioneering tools and incorporate into their like existing solution that is already used by a wide variety of their customers. But small AI companies will definitely have their time under the sun, right? And maybe actually get sold to some big player in the end. So yeah, it's a very exciting times for those like small startups, and also for the talent acquisition community who can shrink their delivery times and those kind of things. So
yeah, true. And this is also a nice time to experiment. I mean, you try and everything, and no, it's really exciting period of time, I think.
Yeah. And I remember we talked a bit before we started recording this, and you mentioned one other thing that is candidate experience, right? That is like really becoming one of the pillars of how like employer branding is built. Obviously, yeah, it's currently the employer market. So to speak, but still, like companies are battling for talent and making sure that they can provide the fast track for candidates. And I think you mentioned quite a few good points on that. Maybe you could elaborate a bit on the candidate experience aspect for our listeners.
Yes, sure. What I'm thinking now is that when you are in employer-driven market, it seems that candidate experience is not so important because you have a lot of free and open for opportunities people around, and it seems that hiring in some industries is so easy to make right now, so you don't really need to persuade people or give them some extra support or help or service. But what I believe in is that things are changing really fast, and it means that currently and now we have this great opportunity to start building how we treat our, not building, maybe everybody, even if you don't actually, if you are not talking about candidate experience, even if you are not focusing on that, it exists, it still exists. So every candidate of yours gets some experience with your company, right? And currently we have this great opportunity to actually shape it and make it in a way you really want when the market will turn in a very opposite direction, when the market will be candidate driven. So currently we have this great opportunity to invest and to create something great. We have time, we have resources, we have like tools that help us to create the workaround and actually the workflow for which is particularly made and tailored for our company, right? For the very particular employer. So then we will be really ready to face an opposite situation on the market when we will hunt for people, like desperately hunt for people and desperately trying them to persuade that we are a great company, yes, to work with. So yes, I think that despite the situation that we have a lot of choice right now, we have to work on the candidate experience. And this is the key for a future success in recruitment. So yes.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the insight. I know that you also had quite recent lecturing experience, right? And you drove a really comprehensive talent acquisition course, which touched upon like a plethora of topics. Obviously, we're not gonna reiterate the program of the course, but basically, since I think it consists of like all the main pillars that the talent acquisition professional needs to tackle, maybe you could talk a bit about how that was structured, like what actual aspects of talent acquisition do you consider like pivotal for the for the professional community, and like why did you include those maybe in the course? Because I think you were like compiling it yourself, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Actually, let me start from like a backstory why
Sure.
I decided to create this course. I actually work on my diploma in HR and organizational development, and the topic was about the recruitment for the talent acquisition. And what I find out is that there are a lot of information about how to like find and select the right talent for your organization, what kind of tools you may use, what are kind of methods of interviewing, actually how to understand that the person, holds a very certain soft skill or behavior or whatever. Actually, everything regarding the core of the selection, how to find and how to select the person. But what I really understood that there is a lack of information for a person who, for example, holds a managerial role in recruitment, in talent acquisition, or a person who wants to, to move forward and to become a manager and to lead a function within an organization. I decided to actually to gather this information and to structure it and to help people to understand how the recruitment function works from the helicopter perspective. From the very ground things as how the organizational chart of the talent acquisition function may look like within different type of organization with different strategy and different size of organization, how this function may grow with the organization, for example, what kind of roles they may have within, yes, when you have to, add certain roles into your talent acquisition organization, for example, and so on and so on. So that was like the beginning of the idea of the course. And then I added all the things that are all the directions and all the key responsibilities that may be within the talent acquisition. For example, like managing of candidate experience, work with employer brands, work with stakeholder management, of course, because talent acquisition is not like a unique standalone function within the organization. You always need to communicate and cooperate and, create a nice relationship, which may lead to a great hires and so on and so on. And the background of this course was about the reporting and analytics, because there is nothing, I believe that there is no function in every organization without numbers, including talent acquisition. Sometimes it seems that it's a very, very people-oriented thing. So you just, trying to find somebody and to place this person into the right role within the organization. But it's always about numbers. You always should analyze, looking back, understand what works well, what not, how it may be, improved, or what you should revise in your processes and so on and so on. And this is also a language that you may use with your stakeholders. So yeah, this part was the last one.
Yeah. I can clearly see how little data is used or are used rather in an organization to actually drive decision making sometimes. Because as you said, talent acquisition is like soft stuff. You just speak and have gut feeling and everything, and don't gather data as you go along. So, but it works just as any function. Yeah. So you should trace every touch point, every outreach channel, and those kind of things. Because ultimately it's also sales, right?
Yes, yes. That was my idea, is that recruitment actually it's quite silent function for the organization, right? So why we treat sales as a very, analytical thing based on a lot of numbers and analytics, but recruitment not? Why? So that's strange. And I know a lot of organizations where recruitment is just something that, out of like standard and basic reporting based system of the company, which is strange.
Awesome. Well, if you were to pick like one of those topics, right, and maybe based on the reaction that you got from the audience that you lecture those two, maybe based on your own perception, like what would you think was, if people got only one topic from that course, which one it should be, right? So which would be the most influential for them, like nailing the data, understanding stakeholders, building a better employer brand?
It's a hard one, frankly speaking.
No easy questions here.
Yeah. Yes. What I'm thinking is that if I'd pick recruitment strategy as a basic thing here, and the reason why is that recruitment strategy actually for me is one of the topic which consists of reporting, stakeholder management, employer branding, and so on and so on. So this is something where you can actually integrate all this subtopics into. And what was really a nice discovery for a group and for me, and at some point for me as well, is that recruitment strategy is not only about a very specific vacancy, right? You can have a lot of recruitment strategy on the company level as well. So first, you have to create your understanding how you hire. So what are your understanding how you work with the external market, externally, internally. So how you acquire people actually, and then you can apply that into very specific vacancy. Adjust, customize, or even create something new within the given recruitment strategy. But yes, this is a very nice thing to understand and to play around also.
Right. Yeah, so recruitment strategy is like an umbrella, right? That you actually understand first, and then all the nitty-gritty pieces, then you can adjust. And probably one good thing to go for when building your recruitment strategy is understanding which things you are already particularly good at, right? So which are great, and where are the bottlenecks, right? Where you need to actually apply more effort to execute, right?
Yes, that's true. And actually having like when you have a recruitment strategy where it's defined on the company level, you may use it as a basic thing for employer branding creation, right? For based on this idea, you may create all the messages you will come up to the external and the internal one. So you always have to be focused on your employees as well. It's a very nice source of new talents.
Awesome. What has this experience taught you about yourself?
About myself, I talk too much. This is the first. It's quite a challenge. Sometimes when I have a topic where I am very interested in, I never stop. So that's my challenge, and that's what I have as an outcome from this experience. But yes, this is the fun part. But the second part is that there are so many people with so many different experience. I mean, I had 50 students, 50 plus students, and they were all from very different industries. I have worked with like variety of them, but not with all of them. For example, I never worked with cleaning industry or whatever, and really their real life examples were outstanding. This is completely different with what I experienced before, and it was so interesting, and it was so nice to have them in my students pipeline. We shared this experience, and I believe that they taught me a lot from because this is a very different angle on a very similar topics, which is like wow.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very, for me, it's also, I think it's a missed opportunity, right? Because we cannot actually grab everything from all around, right? And we still kind of stick to our own bubbles where we actually build those connections within like specific industries, and we kind of tend to build our professional experience more like in a straight line or maybe some curvy line, but we never then like we miss out on other areas for sure. So I'm sure like having those kinds of exposures broadens your horizons as well, right?
Yes, that's true. And this is something that I believe that even if you are a lecturer, you may learn a lot from people that came to your lecture. And yeah, I love this.
Yeah. And you can, sharpen your sword, right, in the process.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, great. A great bit about lecturing. I mean, I think anyone who would be maybe thinking of learning something better, like getting better at what they preach, they should try like either lecturing or maybe coaching or mentorship, actually, reiterating their own experiences and thoughts and share with other people and see how it actually works out. Yeah.
Sometimes you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, but to structure it, to sit, to analyze, to reflect on it, and to structure it, you have no room for that. Like in the everyday life, when you have a lot of job to do, but with such opportunity as lecturing, you have this time and challenge, and you may focus on that, and I think it's really beneficial.
Yeah. Another analogy that comes to mind is learning a language, right? You may listen to a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff, but it only internalizes once you start talking, right?
Yes. I actually have a nice example of learning French, because I was like 15 years old when I first came to France, and I was like zero in French language. But then people started talking to me, and it seems that I was in France for 3 months, I think. When I came back, I was able to talk, and it was like, wow! I knew nothing about reading, about letters and so on and so on, but I could talk, and it was like a discovery for me that this is totally possible when you're really interested in something.
Yeah. You're like a large language model, right? The more information was fed into you, the better you
Yes,
became.
and that's interesting. Yes, that's true.
Awesome. All right, I wanted to shift focus again a bit and uh, talk more about like the theoretic, theoretic, therapeutic, therapeutic,
It's
therapeutic part
tricky
of
word.
our conversation. Yeah, uh, yeah. Maybe get a bit more serious. I mean, I know that these are like extremely like stressful times, not only in the talent acquisition landscape, but also during the these times of unease and geopolitics and stuff actually come into play. And I know that you're like juggling a lot of stuff yourself. So maybe if you would be talking to people who have also experienced like an immense amount of stress as talent acquisition professionals in their careers or otherwise, uh, how do you cope with everything that's going on? Like, what kind of keeps you going? What, let's say, what do you grab onto? To keep going strong because I know that you're like really resilient person. Uh, so maybe some advice on that for the people who are struggling today.
I have advice and anti-advice. Yeah.
Sure.
No. I'm laughing, but yeah, in general, there are some like basic advices here. But what I may admit that not all of them are applicable to everybody, especially for me, for example. So basically, the first advice that came from everywhere is like do sports, for example. Like when you have your time off, you can do sports. I've tried that and it doesn't work for me well. I mean, that's nice from a body fit thing, right? It works, that's true. But frankly speaking, I can't switch when I do sport. I can't switch in my mind from things that are, bothering me or, frustrate me or something. So it's not possible. It's not the way that work for me well. That's true. I try to read books, like not try, but that's what I love. And can you
All
hear
good.
me?
Yeah,
Yes.
all good.
Oh, good. Okay, that's my
No
hair.
worries. No worries.
So yes. So, but with books, what I also understood is that professional literature doesn't work. So it makes me more frustrated, to be very honest. So I need to read some, really nice, I don't know, fantastic fiction or something, which just, turn me just around and
What
makes
was the
me.
last thing that you read that actually helped you switch?
Currently, I'm reading. That's which worked for me really well. It's a Ukrainian author. His name is Ilarion Pavlyuk, and he writes like mystic detectives. Let me put it this way. But this is
Nice.
but this is all about like the reality, like the current reality that we currently have, which like I can feel as a part of this book. So I just, dive into this, different reality, and I can think of what happened in the book, in the story, but not what happened outside. And it helps. That's true. And the last thing, I don't think that this is last but not the least, let me put it this way, is that what I've learned is that I'm on a remote type of work for 5 years already. And what I understood recently is that meeting with people and having friends makes a difference. I also learned an article recently that what can make people happy at work is to have at least one friend at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is totally true. So I'm totally support the statement. And what I've learned, I started visiting office to meet with people. and to talk with people and to, I don't know, have a cup of coffee, like chatting, having small talks or something, just to discuss things not about work, and do it in person. And that's what helps me during my work. That's like for sure. So I strongly advise you to find somebody in your work whom you like, and you can talk with these people about topics that are not about work.
Yeah, yeah. And great perk of finding friends at work is that they then surpass the employers, right? That they stay with you.
Yes, just like we are.
Yeah, you don't have to kind of hand them back as your laptop, like when you exit.
Yeah,
They stay with you. Yeah, that's a very profound advice. I mean, yeah, in
yeah,
our world, I think values of like true friendship are really high.
yeah. Despite I like a lot remote type of work. I mean, work from home is something that I really cherish. Yes, but you can't find friends online. I mean, you can, but those are not friends that may support you in hard situation.
Well, we're gonna see if this is gonna have a comment section. If it does, then maybe people in the comments would.
Yes, maybe people will share their examples, but I'm pretty much sure that human touch is really, really
Yeah,
healing
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So speaking of human touch, I know that like your mom, right? And you have beautiful, nice kids that I have the pleasure to sometimes see during our video calls back at work, right? And you have a really cool dog as well, right? You have to
Yes.
manage like the whole household. Maybe something, maybe on the fun side of things. How do you think your professional experience like transfer to your family life? Any like stakeholder management techniques that you're using with your family?
Oh, my husband struggles the most, I would say. He thinks that I'm part of as kind of, a religious organization.
Cult?
Yes, cult. Yes, that sometimes when we discuss something, he just saying to me, he say to me, "Stop doing that to me, please. I see what you're doing. Please stop doing that." So, even in the situation when I'm not doing something specifically. Yes, but
Right.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that when you the story is with interviewing and with talent acquisition is that all your conversation with all the people around actually in some certain point become interview. So that's true. So you start asking questions and doing that you just out of your plans or something. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is something that you do intentionally. It just it just happened. You just
Yeah.
start asking questions and let the conversation. So this is what you
True.
do
True.
in
Yeah,
most.
and a lot of those conversations are also negotiations, right?
Yes, and selling, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
sell things. So yes, and when you're doing that, you structure the conversation in a way just like you do in
Mm-hmm.
interview, right? So that's the patterns that you just acquire throughout your professional life, and then you use it everywhere. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. Do you get that also urge to like when you talk to like your husband or a friend or someone, and you talk about like second person, and you have the urge to ask like, okay, what do they do?
Yes,
And
yes,
where do
yes,
they work?
yes, yes. And what I've noticed about me is that if I'm really interested in somebody, I'm trying to Google it. Google this person. So I need to see CV, or profile, LinkedIn profile, to be very much sure that I know this person.
Right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's
Does it
true.
have an impact on you if you Google the person they don't have a LinkedIn profile? Something like,
It makes me suspicious, frankly speaking. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes it happens. Yes, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, that's strange for me. Yeah.
all right. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I think there's like a bunch of questions I could ask you. I mean, we could go on like endless tangents and discuss a lot of stuff, and I hope we will get the chance to also in the future. But like to close things off, maybe the question that I would ask you is, what would you like recommend to talent acquisition professionals today if they would like to step up their game?
Mm, the
Like be it
recommendation.
professionally or maybe in more of a like therapeutic sense. Okay, I did it correctly the first time. So anything that you feel is relevant. What would you tell your current team or people you have worked with, maybe?
I would, well, my first advice, what I'm fighting for throughout my professional life, it's not about talent acquisition only. It's about everybody actually came into my area, and so what I would advise them first is that to think, to look back and to think of whether they really like what they do. I mean, I really believe that the best way to be happy in your professional life and is to love what you do, right? And I think, and this may change throughout years, right? So you have to check yourself. Like sometime you ask yourself whether I'm in the right place in the what I'm doing. Is that what I do? Is that what I love doing? Right. So I think this type of monitoring of your professional path will definitely help you to make the right choices and throughout your life, and not be afraid of changing things even dramatically sometimes, because I know a lot of people, recruitment is a very exhausting function. I mean, you talk with people a lot and you go through a very different stories, and sometimes you're part of those bad experience or rejection things with a lot of people, right? Because the recruitment, the normal recruitment way is when you pick the one and all other get rejection from you, right? So you have this really different experience with very different people, and sometimes it makes you feel very exhausted or burnt out or something. So to keep going is to understand whether this is something that's like in at the very end makes you feel fulfilled. What also would be important, I think, for everybody is to find your way to change the focus of your work. That's what I do throughout my work experience, is that I'm trying to create or I'm trying to manage my workload in a way when I can shift from a very different type of actions. Like today I'm doing recruitment, I have a lot of interviews, I'm interacting with people. The next day I'm doing reporting, which is like a very standalone work to be done, very analytical one. I don't need anybody around me or something. So I'm trying to divide my workload into different parts, which are very different one from another, and get my energy from it. So to sometimes to save energy, sometimes to share my energy, sometimes to eat the energy of other people or something. So kind of exchange. So this is my way to work and to live through even the lowest times of recruitment. Yes, and always keep this focus why I'm here and why I do what I'm doing.
Great. Yeah. Some timeless wisdom, I guess. I could only add to this one, and you mentioned it when talking about the aspect. Understand that you love what you do because you're talking to a lot of people, and you're hearing their like life stories a lot of the time, right? So you actually end up with parts of their experiences in your own. So it can be really draining sometimes, but it's like depending on how you take it, it could also be like really energizing. And always try to find people who you can charge off of, right? And like ideally it would be like a mutual charging station, right? So that you don't drain their energy. Which circles back to get friends and get meaningful conversations and then you'll have a really great time.
So one more thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
tell me.
What I'm doing also is that I'm collecting the good stories. I mean, I'm trying to, keep like really nice stories from my candidates somewhere in my, memory, and just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it's also it helps you really go through those low moments, right? When you understand, okay, this guy told me that he relocated and I changed his life forever. Like he met like the love of his life where he's relocated to, like, and basically that could keep you going when you are feeling really overwhelmed and nothing is working. And so those stories really help. Awesome. Great, Anna. So it was super nice talking with you today. I had a really great time, and so hopefully we get to do this some other time because I have a gazillion questions still left and topics to cover. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Artem. It was super nice to meet you and to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks.